This was a donation from Timo Momo. Fantastic. I showed this on a live stream actually. Yeah, it was on part 5. That's public. Part 1 through 4 are on Patreon or YouTube member only. But anyway, yeah, he kindly sent me these at his own expense. This is absolutely incredible. 9, well, there were 10 power switches for C64s. One of these I modified and used in the C16 repair. I'll stick a link top right there. That is just amazing. I bought one of these myself on eBay from a US seller, and by the time the shipping and tax and stuff was applied, it was like £15. So yeah, I can't thank you enough, Timo. This is amazing. Timo comes from Finland, by the way. So yeah, that's just incredible. Thanks ever so much for these. These are brilliant. So I'll put those away into my storage drawers for future repairs. But the main focus of this video, now you've seen again some of these things previously. The TED, C16 PLAs we covered in a previous video. Again, there'll be a link top right. It's that same video actually. And I got some cartridges here, so this will be another video. So these came from Daniel Mantione. So he included 2 TED kits and some Commodore 64 PLA kits. You can see I've got the PCBs here to build 5. So yeah, super short video, but it's just showing a few pickups here. I'll show you a mug as well that came from Parma, which is appropriate, and I've been meaning to show that for ages. I haven't used it yet. It's still in its box. So yeah, lots of wonderful things from some wonderful supporters here. I got some pin header strips to go with this here. 1 or 2 of these have been cut down because obviously we built a couple of those TED adapters. And as I said, these 2 cartridges will be the next video, I think. So I think we've got the chips here. We've got the GAL chips in here. This is a modern replacement for the C64 PLA. So those are, always failing in C64s. If you pick up an old C64 and it gives you a black screen, chances are the PLA is going to be at least one of your problems, if not just the entire problem. Yeah, but in here then, I think we've got GALs. I assume we've got enough to do 5 of these, but I may need to program some of my own, I'm not sure yet. Yeah, solid in pairs and sockets as well. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Thank you ever so much, Daniel. That is just wonderful. Some fantastic people out there. There really is. So without further ado, let's just try and break these. The pre-look marked there, so you don't even need to score them. I think when I did those TED ones, I scratched them with a craft knife, but you can see you can just literally just rock one way carefully and then the other, and then they break up like that. So you can buy these pre-assembled from Daniel. There'll be a link down below to his Sell My Retro store. So if you want a replacement PLA, hit his store there and yeah, sort you and fix your C64. He does lots of other products as well for the C64, but I think he was the original author of these. This is an incredible thing. I think he was the original guy that created the JED for these and then shared it, and perhaps open sourced the PCB, because there's loads of these available on eBay as well. But I would support Daniel. Don't buy from eBay. Go to his Sell My Retro store and buy from there. So I'm not going to show you all 5 of these. I'll just assemble one here. And again, it's not very exciting content, is it? Because I'm sure you want to see a repair or something. But we'll cover some of the things in this video as well. It's not just going to be assembly of this. We'll do some of the stuff for the C64 maybe. So yeah, we'll get 2 sockets out, and all we need to do is work out the best order here in terms of installing the sockets versus installing the pin header. So the pin header looks to go in the middle, doesn't it? The pin header looks to go in the middle of where the socket is. So once you've got the socket on, you can't access the position there, so you want to get these pin strips on first. And I think the way I would do this is I'm going to go get a turn pin socket, a dip one, so that I can plug this into a turn pin socket to get the legs nice and straight. And do pay attention they're not at an angle like that, because they can, get slightly warped. And then we'll solder those on. We may not need to trim the pins down. Let's just see if a socket just fits nicely over the top there, whether it's going to seesaw. No, there's plenty of space there, look, so it's going to be a doddle to assemble that. So let's just trim these down to the correct length, so it's the centre ones, isn't it? Let's just see how long, yeah, so if you just stick it in like that, then you can't go wrong, I think, just trimming it here. There we go, that's one strip. Let's just see if that ender there, yeah, I've got some odd bits here, but they're a bit short, so and we need the other side to be the same length, of course. You can see there's a wider neck there, that's the side you solder. So yeah, it's got to go that way onto the board, so it wants to go like that. Where's the other one gone now? Yeah, I lost a bit of cut off there for a minute. So again, it's going to go downwards like that. Yeah, and I will just try and stick it into a socket like this. Nice and straight, there we go. And we'll just press it nice and flat. And then just inspect sort of side on just to make sure it's straight. Yeah, you can see there's ever so slight tilt to that. This is the thing, so you know, sometimes it is worth just pressing a little bit in the orientation you want to try and straighten it up somewhat. I guess it depends on how straight the pins go into the socket when you secure it that way. Yeah, that's pretty straight. So that's both sides secured there, so I'm just going to use the pliers here to gently leave this out of the socket. It's a controlled way, you know, because you've got like controlled leverage there, instead of it just wrenching out and bending the pins, and you can, yeah, protect the pins there, so that's nice and straight. So final part now, well, almost final. We're just going to get the chips in after we've soldered the sockets on. Solder the sockets on. Pin 1, you know, the semicircle there is towards the top. So it's just a case of, again, flipping it over and soldering all the points. Really easy to assemble, aren't they? If you're dealing with odds and ends like I am here, I need 2 on the end of this little piece here. When you come to fit it into here, you'll see, hang on, if I can try and get it in, it's sticking out. You know, it's catching, can you see that? That's not straight, it's catching on here. So it's a case of using a little file really carefully and try and hold it. It dissolves really easily, this plastic, but nevertheless, if we do that, we can get it nice and flat there. There we go. We may need to do the same with this piece here. So yeah, a bit harder to file because it's such a small piece. Yeah, paying attention to get the fat pins towards the solder point. There we go. Oh, you can see I bent a pin on this socket. Oh, it's come off. Oh, that's good job. We've got some spares, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, you can see that's straight actually. And of course, if you want to speed up the soldering here, when you're building a volume like I'm doing here, you can drag sideways. A chisel tip would assist with this, and just do that. You know, just drag along. Obviously, a dedicated flux may help here as well. But it's so much quicker than soldering a single pin at a time, that's for sure. I will just bob into them myself like that anyway, just to resize them. Anyway, you can see how much quicker that was just to do one side. And the solder points don't look too bad. Right, that's all 5 assembled. I'm not sticking the chips on yet because they've got labels, haven't they? And I'm going to stick these in ultrasonic next. Before I do that, I'm going to try and filter the ultrasonic IPA because it's really dirty. Yeah, so I'm probably going to make a mess doing this. Can you see that? It looks like chip fat, doesn't it? It looks like a fryer, this, from the chippy. Right, so here we are with all of the things come out the ultrasonic cleaner. You can see that port is looking pretty darn good, actually. Pretty clean. They just got a little bit of IPA. I think that was one of the Archimedes ports from the last 3010 that I looked at. I mean, it's very dull looking around the edges and stuff, but it's come out pretty clean. It's been ultrasonic a number of times, that. What I tend to do with things like that is just leave them in there, but look, these are pretty rusted. Yeah, they're really bad. I think those are from the Archimedes as well. It looks awful. So yeah, 1 or 2 of these I would get the fiberglass pen on. God, they're awful. It's ironic, it's like they seem to have corroded it inside the the IPA. It probably isn't, it's probably just dirt that's stuck on the surface there. Yeah, it's wiping off that. So those things probably need a bit of a scrub, those Archimedes things. It's amazing what I'll salvage. And then of course all of the sockets off that 500 plus, and again they look pristine. They look absolutely pristine. I removed all of the solder from here with flux and braid. So yeah, the legs just need, you know, crimping flat and then sticking with all my other sockets. Yeah, they're looking pretty good. So I think we had 2 ROM sockets, didn't we? 2 CAA sockets, a 68K socket, and I think you'll agree that is good enough to reuse. And the ones from Paula and Denise, that pin there looks like that needs taken out and retensioning, putting back in. I've got some filter paper here. I was going to use something else, so it's cut to a strange shape there. Now I can't quite remember. I did this in chemistry at school. I think you fold like that, don't you? Something like that, and then fold it over. I don't know. You can see I've kind of made a weird cone shape there, and I'm just going to shove that down into that, I think, somehow. It helps if the centre point is correct there. Anyway, that should do, I think. And I'm just going to pour this. See if, do you think that container's big enough? Actually, I don't think it is it? Might need to go and get a bigger container. Let me go and find something bigger. Right, that should be big enough, I think. Of course, holding the funnel and trying to pour it in there ain't going to be easy, and this thing weighs an absolute ton. So let me just think about this. I need some way of holding this, lifting this, and then pouring this without going everywhere. Let's just see. I don't know, let's see what I can do here. There we go. Oh, and don't go over the edge. And you can see, hopefully, oh hang on. Yeah, I'm not sure if I caught that. So you can see it's filtering through. Very slowly. Oh God, it's going to take ages, this, isn't it? That is taking a seriously long time. Yeah, I've just folded another piece of filter paper here. It's professional lab grade. I don't know what the you know, diameter or whatever is, the, you know, the thickness of this is, you know, I don't know what it's called, you know what I mean, the thickness of the gaps in between. But yeah, is it going to be clean or not? I honestly don't know. The paper at the top where the filter was doesn't look especially dirty, so maybe it's going to be exactly the same colour when it's gone through that. Because this is the thing, if you get dirt dissolved into the IPA there, that's not going to filter out. You'd have to use distillation or something else, wouldn't you, to, I don't know, you could even do that with IPA. I presume you could, you know, heat it and filter off the, you know, IPA some way into a, I don't know, some sort of cooling vessel or something, I don't know. Anyway, as soon as that gets down a little bit low, I'll get rid of this piece of filter paper, put the other piece of filter paper in, which should allow me to put more volume in. So whilst I'm waiting forever for that, I'm going to replace this pin that broke off earlier. So yeah, we'll just separate these two carefully. Hang on, if I can. Oh, hang on. Yeah, it's never easy to get turn pin out of turn pin like that. There we go. That's it. So the socket, so the other socket is okay. Yeah, so what I need to do is get this pin out. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that. I would imagine it pulls out from this side. Maybe I can't repair it, I don't know, but let's give it a try. Yeah, that funnel thing is only half empty at the moment. It's going to take ages. So I'm just going to twist, I think, just a little bit carefully here. And try and pull. I wonder if it's one of these that pushes upwards, actually. Yeah, some of these push upwards, don't they? It might be like the it might be like the 68K sockets, actually, in that what you've got to do, it might be, I think what you've got to do with these, actually, is not, I think what you've got to do with these is not throw your pliers on the floor, first of all, and I think you've got to push down. because I remember, there we go, I think, hang on. Yeah, I remember having this, working on these. Yeah, I remember getting the pins out of the PLCC sockets, and you've got to push down. It's easier said than done. And of course I could knock the filter while I'm doing this. Sometimes what you can do, if you can get onto the edge there, you can pull it from that side. Yeah, and there we go. So from pressing on this side, can you see it's raised up a little bit? Just on the edge there. So if we now use the cutters, oh god, I tell you, if I had £1 for every single thing I dropped off the table onto the floor, I'd be a millionaire by now. I am getting so cheesed off with working on a table. Who would have thought it'd be harder? Yeah, so anyway, grab the pin carefully and just try and rotate and pull. Being careful not to obviously chop the pin. It's coming out, I think. Of course, I could bend the other pins in the process here. Oh, come on out. That's it. So our pin is out, and as I say, because on some 68060 sockets there were additional pins, I always, you know, when I remove those, is keep them in a bag like this. So I've got some spares here. Hopefully it's going to be okay to fit into that. This one's got a bit of solder on it actually. Let's just have an inspection. Yeah, I'm going to pick a different one. That's got some solder on it, that one. I can see the comments now. Like, are you crazy? Why are you fixing a socket? It's going to be a bit too long, that, isn't it? Look. Yeah, it is like, it is through and it's still stuck up here. I think what I'll do is just go and find another balked turn pin socket and borrow the pin from that. The ones that go through 68060 sockets seem to be deeper. There we go, so I've got a bit of another socket that came off something here. So yeah, it gives me an opportunity to show you how you push the pins through. You gotta go on the side of the pin like that, yeah, right down to the flat surface, hold the whole thing and press down. There we go, it's pushed out. And then of course maybe you can just then push through. Oh, there you go, it's fallen out, look. So that should allow us to fix this now. That's assuming I can get it to go in at all. Oh, I've dropped it on the flipping floor. And this is the crazy thing, is I drop things on this floor like that, and they're never to be found again. It's like, I don't know where it's gone. It's just completely dematerialised. It doesn't exist. It's like things hit this floor, they no longer cease to exist. I really don't get it. Right, I found it. I just used the torch on my phone and shined the torch around and could see the little glint. So the crazy thing is my hands were over that and I couldn't feel it. Right, let's try again. I nearly stuck it back in the donor socket there, hang on. Yeah, helps if you get it the right way around, doesn't it? It goes in from the top. Why is that not going in? It feels bigger than the hole or something, I don't quite know. It's like the hole is too small. I'll report back in a minute. All I did was press down on the plastic here like this to push it, and now it's stuck out a little bit still. Yeah, I just nearly bent my nail over then. I just nearly broke my blooming nail off. Let's just press down. Yeah, it's still raised a little bit there, so I guess it just needs a bit more pressure. Let me try some sturdier pliers here. Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's flat and flush. So yeah, socket repaired. We almost bent that pin off, look, in the process. Let's just try and straighten that. The thing is with these, they don't take much to snap off. You know, if it goes over more than about 20 or 30 degrees, oh look, these are bent over here as well. Look. Yeah, it will break. No, they're not bent, it's just deceptive. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, that will live to see another day. Yeah, I'm not convinced that this process is going to do much, actually, because the IPA in the tub of the bomb kind of looking a yellowy green, just the same colour as the colour that's going in. And this is the problem, I think, that the dirt has dissolved into the IPA. I mean, what I do know for sure is all that stuff at the bottom there, that will get filtered out. So I'm just going to continue on with this. The IPA will look a sort of greeny yellow, but it still works. Whatever I put in here comes out looking absolutely spotless. I just wanted to get rid of all that contaminant at the bottom, really. So it's about halfway down here. I'm getting bored. It's still filtering out, taking blooming ages, and the IPA is yellow. So I figure let's use this as it is now. These will come out clean, and all that contaminant at the bottom will circulate, and then it might get filtered out a bit easier rather than it just being sludgy on the bottom as I pour it out. So let's just switch it on. So just blowing them dry with a bit of hot air here, just around 100 degrees. It's flammable IPA. The other thing I would say as well is IPA, you know, you can ingest it through your skin. Is that the right term, ingestion? I don't know. It can, you know, you can absorb it. IPA will absorb into your skin. So if you're handling boards with IPA, use some rubber gloves or something. I've got some here, and I may get some more. Because I've noticed it when I've worked with lots and lots of IPA cleaning boards up. I can feel just a bit off afterwards, and it's because some of that's probably got into my bloodstream. You can see how clean they look though. Look at the solder points on that. It looks manufactured. Well, it is manufactured by me. So it's surprising, even though we've got you know, pond coloured water there, sort of like green and yellow, the IPA still does its magic. Yeah, there's barely a streak on that. That's one. So the IPA is still filtering away there. It's going to be hours, I think. So anyway, I've got the wrist strap on here. These are all cleaned up and dried, and they look amazing. So we've got little groups of these chips here. That says links, rechts. Is that German? I think it is. I think that means left. Links, rechts, right. So let's just try and unsandwich these. So, rechts, right. I'm going to go check that in a minute, because I could have this the wrong way around. I can't see the pin 1. I think it's up here. So, I guess it goes that way. Yeah, with pin 1 to the top. I will go confirm that. And links. So, I think what we'll do is just get the ZIF64 out, and we'll test these. We'll test these one at a time. I mean, you can't go wrong if you did get these around the wrong way. Well, you could damage the system or the gal, I guess. But in terms of the VCC and the ground, it's got to be correct, because these are both the same way, the same orientation, and the same type of chip. Anyway, let's try that in the ZIF64. So we're all connected up. I've got one of those gal PLAs on there. You can see that's not socketed. And that's the thing. You could be tempted, if you get a kit like this, to not fit the sockets. And you could do that and save yourself the sockets for something else. But it's a good idea, because if you ever get a failure, it's really easy to swap chips around. And as I showed in a previous video, I think, if you get the SID and the PLA mixed up, you will kill the PLA. I've done that before now. So anyway, let's switch it on. 4.8, 5 and 12. Those are VIC, by the way. 5 volts on the VIC, 12 volts on the VIC. That's the main 5 volt level. And as you can see, that is working. Yeah, right, so I've levered that out. Let's get this one in. Just making sure I've got it properly aligned here, and close our lever. Switch it on. I'm just going to feel the tops there. And it's working, I'll show you. Woohoo! So that's one down. I'll just quickly test the other ones. Obviously I need to get the chips onto the other ones. Right, this is the second one. Woohoo! And that is the third one. Woohoo! 3 so far. And the fourth one. Yep. And the final one here, rect to the right. I still haven't looked that up. I assume it's German. But they come from France, and I'm not sure Daniel Mantione is maybe Italian. Interesting. I could be wrong. Maybe he's French. It could be. It sounds like a French name, actually. Yeah, so we've got links erect. So this is number 5. Switch it on. Woohoo! So thank you ever so much to Daniel. Obviously I need to do more testing, but we know these chips that he's designed here, they work. They're really good. They're a really good solid replacement for the PLA on the C64. So that little army of PLAs will assist in some upcoming C64 repairs. I've certainly got 2 more boards that will follow this one that do need a PLA. But I'm sure there will be others in future. I'll get this red one back onto there. I'm not sure what happened with this. It doesn't seem to fit in very well, this one. It seems to sink down on that side there. I don't know why. Why does it sink down? It could just be the plastic edging, you know, the way it's balanced there. I always try and balance it nice and straight like that. But anyway, yeah, it's good to have lots of these for the upcoming repairs. So about an hour and a half, 2 hours later actually, I've got 2 funnels on the go here. So here's the old piece of filter paper. This got blocked up. Can you see how dirty that is? So yeah, it's getting a lot of contaminants out, look, it's filthy. But the interesting thing is, I left that like that there, and the IPA that's leaked through there, you can see it's all clear on the paper here, but the point where it's come out the end there, the little drips that were leaking through there, have gone yellow. This is the colour of the water. So before I clean this up and put it back in, I'm actually going to feed it through the funnel, not through filter paper, but through a tiny piece of this squashed up into the bottom of the funnel. And I reckon that's going to filter out most of that yellow, greeny stuff that's in there. It's just a theory, and obviously, you know, I'm not going to stick a lot of this in there because it'll absorb it, but I suspect it's going to filter most of the colour out of there, that yellowy green. Well, we're getting there. Was this good productive use of my time? No. But you can see how dirty the 2 pieces of filter paper are. Look at that. Yeah, when it dries, obviously you can see the contrast between the white and yeah, the dirty bits really visibly. There's obviously a lot of dirt around the middle there. That's just why it slows down. I even gave up on the time-lapse thing there because it was taking so blooming long. It's just surprising now when you fill this up the first time it goes down pretty quick, and then the second time it just seems to go on a go slow. It just I mean, this one here has been like that for about 5 minutes. It seems to have barely moved. It's just occasional drip. But we're right down to the bottom now. If I just wobble that, you can see there's very little left in there. So I am nearly done, and I think this down here is probably lead and stuff, hence the dark colour to it. And there's a piece of wire there, a leg end from something. But once I get that last bit out there, I'll just you know, get some fresh IPA and wipe all around that, clean it all out, ready. And inspecting these, you know, it dawned on me that the Achilles heel with a filter like this is the point. You know, it joins, doesn't it? As you create the cone, it's to an absolute point, a microscopic point at the bottom. If you sort of, I don't know, made that more, you know, in line with the size of the funnel, which is, you know, is like, I don't know, a centimetre or something on the large one there, and had a flat surface at that point when you create your filter here, the filtering would be a lot more efficient because you've got more surface area where the water, you know, not water necessarily, IPA can leak through. It would still block relatively quick, but not when you've got a single tiny point from folding. Yeah. Right, so pretty much empty. There's just a tiny bit of IPA in the bottom. Let's get all of that out. Yeah, that's lead, isn't it? Solder remnants. Yeah, so fresh paper towel with a tiny bit of fresh IPA, and we'll just wipe around this now. So my sludge coloured IPA has siphoned through there. Well, look at the state of those. It's amazing how much that did filter out, look. It's amazing how much those filtered out. I'll show you all the bits of paper in a minute. Anyway, yeah, it's all finished dripping overnight there. But Is it any cleaner? It doesn't look it, does it? It looks like mud colour, but you know what? The cloudiness has gone, and all of the dust and dirt and, you know, I don't know, lead, I guess, that was at the bottom of that has gone there. But obviously you're going to have a certain amount of that dissolved in there, and it's such small particles that even a filter, you know, filter paper is not filtering it out. You'd have to distill it or something, I don't know. Can you distill IPA? Presumably you can. You know, it's going to have a different boiling point to the other things in there, isn't it? You could evaporate it and, like I say, condense it. You know, there's a whole lot of work just to recycle some IPA, and you're going to lose a percentage of it. Some of it will have evaporated actually in this environment overnight. And this is obviously clean here. There's some streaks and things, but yeah, in general, that is pretty clean. I think in terms of getting it back in, what I'm probably going to do is I'm just going to clean the feet up on this with a bit of IPA, actually, just because it's obviously been sat in the bottom there, and there may be some contaminants just on the bottom of the little plastic feet there. I mean, we're talking like microscopic quantities of dust and dirt and stuff here, so it's not that essential to clean the feet. And I may have inadvertently, you know, dripped a bit of the contaminated IPA straight in past the filter. You know, may have run down the sides of the filter, etc. It's not going to be as clean as it should be. Anyway, let's get that back in. And I think what I may do here, and I've talked about this, just as an extra filter, so we'll take that out of there. Yeah, I'm going to feed it through the funnel again, but I'm just going to give it one final filter with this. So what I'm going to do is just scrunch a little bit of this up, like that amount, and wedge it in there, like that. Yeah, hopefully you can see that. So yeah, hopefully it's not going to block it, but yeah, I'm just going to give it an extra level of filtering here. Yeah, you can see it's coming through there. So yeah, let's leave that. It's hard to tell what difference that's making, but the liquid that's in there, it looks a lot clearer actually. So maybe that is actually doing some additional filtering, I don't know. You know, if you just look down there, you can just about see where it's dripping. It looks pretty transparent to me. So, in fact, it looks completely transparent from this angle. So maybe that is doing some additional filtering. I guess we're only going to be able to tell when we get to the end here. And there's the pieces of filter paper, so I didn't waste the first two here. So this is when the depth was not very deep. You know, we started with the surface water there, or the surface IPA. Then found it was blocking, it was taking ages, so I got impatient, moved on to another one. You can see why, and you can see why the centre point there is the Achilles heel on a filter like this. So yeah, that was the second one. And then by the time we came to the last ones, these were, you know, a couple of fills each. As we got to the bottom of the tank here, look at the crap that's come out of that. That's unbelievable. So yeah, you want to be careful of that. You wouldn't want to breathe that in. It's going to be you know, fiberglass dust. It's going to be lead. It's going to be things that are contained within flux and solder. Yeah, that is looking so much cleaner. You can see a small trickle of it just coming down here. It's it looks transparent in the tank. Actually, maybe the depth is not enough to, you know, see that it's like a yellowy green. I'm getting seriously cheesed off with this filtering. It's been going an hour this last bit, so yeah, I'm just going to just get a tiny wee bit in here. Yeah, into another one. Yeah, you'll see in a minute. It's you know, it's clearly blocked. I can see it. I can see there's muck in there, and I'm just going to put it into this little one here, which probably isn't going to filter at all. Look, I think oh, it is doing. It's dripping now slowly. Yeah, just try and somehow balance this. Is it going to balance? There we go. Yeah, can you see that? Yeah, can you see that? Oh, look how dirty that was. It was a good idea double filtering it, wasn't it? And that one hopefully should drain a bit quicker now. It's dripping a lot quicker. But we're pretty much there now. Yeah, so the thing I've learned about this whole process of filtering, if you're going to filter anything like this, any kind of liquid, is, well, the kitchen roll I'm using here, kitchen towel, is better than the lab grade filter paper, because look at the dirt that's been collected in that. You know, it's obviously more porous, this, but when it's scrunched up into a lump like this, you can see that is literally a load of contaminant here. It's hard It's hard to believe how much contaminant we got there. It's solid, look. Absolutely solid. This is why obviously the dripping got less and less and less and less and less. So yeah, and the other thing is, I'm getting this everywhere here, and the other thing with this is it's about the volume, isn't it? The surface area. The surface area there is a lot more than a point on some folded filter paper. So I'm thinking if I'd had a bigger funnel, you know, with, I don't know, quite a large hole like that, you know, quite a long piece, and then filled it with this stuff, obviously it wouldn't have blocked anywhere near as quick and would have got a lot more volume through a lot quicker. So I may buy some more of those funnels, actually get some, you know, a slightly larger one for anything I do like this in future. But I think my first point would be to use some of this. Now obviously brand may be important, but yeah, I would use this rather than the lab quality filter paper. You know, I got some of this from, you can see that it says 15cm filter grade, medium grade. So yeah, but it was from somewhere that sells, you know, chemistry type stuff. So yeah, so even though this is like looks solid, I don't know, this seemed to do a better job. And just unravelling that so you can get a better look at it. It's incredible how dirty that is, isn't it? You know, this is obviously the original colour. I mean, look how dirty that is. It's incredible. So the next thing here's the C64C that was in part 3, I think, of the junk C64 board. Link up the top right. Yeah, let's connect to the video. I'm going to get, well, just power it up to start with. You can see I have an adhesive socket to that, so that was a follow-up to that, and obviously I soldered the kernel into a turn pin socket here, because that's the only way it would grip. The irony is, if you saw the update on that, I fitted the ZIF socket and then the chip wouldn't fit at all because the legs were so short. Anyway, let's just power this on, make sure it works okay. The next thing I'm going to do is test these RAMs here. Yeah, so I got these new old stock ZMD, I think the 4164s. So let me just connect the power. Let's just see if this is still working before we swap the RAM. But so what I want to do is just test that RAM out in here. I got that RAM for the TF MSX2 Plus. But when we did this repair, it dawned on me I'm pretty low of RAM now. I've fixed one or two of these recently, and I don't think I've got any RAM for the C64C, so I figure let's try it on this. Let's switch that on. Yeah, and as you can see that is working. So I'll switch it off, get the wrist strap on, and I use this cheap dip extractor here. So useful, those, not just for removing chips like this out of sockets, but for removing chips when you're using hot air. This is the one, if you saw that repair, can you see that pin? That pin there just seems to want to come out. I didn't fit that socket. That wasn't the fault, by the way, if anyone was wondering if that was the issue causing the problem with the data, but it wasn't. It was a bad kernel. I've still got that kernel. I could stick it back in here and you'll see the single flash with the dead test. And I've got the dead test cart, we'll use that in a sec, but let's just fit two of these. Now I haven't looked at the data sheet of these, I'm just going off the part numbers here, and knowing that 4 of these are on the TF MSX2 Plus, sorry, yeah, 4 of them, that's right, to give it 128k RAM, so it just dawned on me, these are probably going to be just what we need. I'm just going to straighten the pins out because they're a bit gull-winged on one side there, and let's get one into, oh, the shorter, there you go, the shorter, so there we go, we can't test those in here. This is why you should check the data sheet. They're a pin short, aren't they? So they're not the chips I thought they were, which is curious. Anyway, it's good to have some spares of those. And finally, there we go. So it's still got a light greenish, yellowish tinge to it, as you can see. But all of the cloudiness has gone, all of the contamination has gone. I added just I don't know, half a centimetre more of IPA there. But anyway, yeah, we're done. I'll show you the other little bung from that little funnel there, just from the last little bit that went through. Yeah, so that was that last little piece of paper there. You can see, it has absorbed lots of muck, look. Yeah, I mean it's wet, so it kind of looks a funny colour, but trust me, that is dirty. Just get rid of these little bits of IPA off there. Yeah, I have just cleaned this with some fresh paper towel and IPA. Right, it's that time of year again, it's like 18 months later. it needs cleaning. And I know that because you can see from here it looks like a cloudy yellow, and there is a lot of contamination in there, lots of particles and things. And you can see this time we've got some glass things here. Yeah, don't tell the wife. They'll clean well in the sink, you know. The thing is with glass, it's a rock hard solid surface. Contaminants are not going to go in there as long as you clean it pretty thoroughly. Should be alright. So I'll report back. Right, I've decided to go into this empty bottle here. And let's just squeeze that like that. Yeah, so we're going to have 2 levels of filtering there. And I've got to try and get the IPA out of here without getting this everywhere. And the only reason I've got it in this thing here is I can pour it into that afterwards, but it's just going to catch any drips, really. And we get a load of it out of here. And the problem with that is I don't want the drips in there, do I? I haven't thought this through at all. Often the way I roll, I fly by the seat of my pants with most stuff. And this may take a considerable time to drain, if memory serves. Right, the filter has got blocked, so we're going to need to change the filter paper over. You can see the paper towel down here has gone a funny colour. Let's just take this out. So if we sort of just try and unfold this and have a look, yeah, it's gone all crusty. It feels like stiff, and you can see, yeah, there's a bit of discoloration there. So anyway, that needs replacing. Let's put that out of the way. And yeah, the thing that was in here again has all gone discoloured, and I mean, it doesn't look that blocked, but anyway, it is blocked. Right, alright, slow progress. It's gradually going in there. We've got green water, but it's nowhere near as cloudy as it was. You can sort of see that from the bit of the jug that's just there. That's only the jug that needs emptying. The bit that's in the thing there now, I'm going to clean that out. I'm just going to get rid of that last bit at the bottom. It's got loads of contamination at the bottom of it. Yeah, zooming you in, you can see that. It's absolutely filthy at the bottom of that. It looks solids and things, probably mostly like lead and what have you. Oh, there's a washer there I can see. So the last bit in the bottle is just going through the final filter there. It is coming out fairly clear. And if you look at the filter paper here, these have pretty much dried now. You can see, yeah, they're really dark, aren't they? Especially this one. Look at that. The plugs, not so much, but I guess you could unravel those and have a look. But yes, not quite as dirty as it was last time. But there's definitely a contrast from that side to that side. And last but certainly not least, look how dirty that one is there. Look at all the contaminants down that bit. And obviously it's still wet at the moment, so yeah, but that is the dirtiest, and that was the third one. So they got progressively more dirty, and I guess that's the deeper you go into the tank there, the dirtier it gets. But yeah, there's definite black marks here, and this took ages to filter through this one. And finally, in 2025, it's January 2025, here is the amazing mug that I've waited over almost 5 or 6 years to open. I think this came 2018. It could have even been 2017. It came from the amazing Palmer. There's going to be a few more videos related to stuff that Palmer sent me. Again, many of which I've been waiting to open forever. It's just like, I like to try and share my excitement and appreciation with things like this. This is why I've saved this. It's like, these are the things that keep me going. When I don't open something, that's another way of looking at things. When I don't open something, don't think it's because I don't like it. It's a bit like, I'm one of these people, I like to save the best till last. Does that make sense? So it's like, I have a chocolate bar, always over there on the left, and it stays there for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I don't eat it. Every time I come in, I think, I want to eat that chocolate bar, and I don't eat it. I'm that kind of person. I like to try and make things last. If something's really good, I like to try and make it last. And of course, once you've opened it and used it, the experience is gone. You've still got the memories and all the rest of it, but if it's still there and you haven't tinkered with it, it's like the excitement level can build. You're waiting and waiting and waiting. You look at it all the time thinking, oh, well, eat that chocolate bar. Oh, one day I'm going to eat that chocolate bar. And that's my mentality. I've got the 3000 sat on the floor from Commodore down there, that PCB. That's going to be the next thing. I've put that off far too long. But again, it's one of those, I feel more psychologically stimulated and positive knowing that I haven't got around to looking at it. It nearly fell out there, didn't it? So it comes in its own box and everything, this. So huge thanks to Palmer for this. I am going to start drinking my tea out of it, I think, which, this is the thing why I reason I put it off as well with mugs, because you know it's like, they go through the washer over and over and over and over. 10 years from now, all the paint will be worn off it and stuff, so I don't know. Post comments down below, what do you think I should do? Do you think I should keep this in here, not drop it on the floor, whatever I do, and put that on a shelf somewhere? I'm tempted to not use it and keep it on a shelf, because then it's the chocolate bar thing again, isn't it? It's like, one day I'm going to start drinking my tea out of that. Anyway, huge thanks, Palmer. It's very much appreciated. And yeah, one of my favourite systems, the Commodore 64. You can tell it's January. I've still got the same top on that I put on every day. It's the thing that keeps me alive in here. It's flipping freezing. Anyway, I do hope you found that video interesting. Cleaning the IPA, was it good use of my time? Not really. But I really enjoyed it. So you saw I did it the second time and applied what I'd learned from the first time, really, which is to, you know, bung the second filter up the actual thin part of the nozzle there on the, you know, the funnel, and just use some that same lab grade filter paper, and it works okay. It comes out a very light greeny yellow, but it's absolutely crystal clear. It's like, you know, it removes all the fogginess and the cloudiness and all the particles, and I've continued to use that all year since I did the GBA 1000. Yeah, because the GBA 1000 was finished almost this time last year. It's amazing, I think it was. It's amazing how long it's taken me to get around to finishing that video. The part 9 or 10, I think. It's part 10 will go up. Part 10 of that will go up on the main channel soon. Anyway, if you'd like to support the channel, please see the Coffee and Patreon links down below. I'll catch you in the next video.